If you've ever found yourself caught in a rut, Sheinelle has now caught up with someone who is very special, one woman who proves it is never too late to try something new. Sheinelle.
Yes, I'm about to introduce you to a woman who started a career at the very young age of 85. I quickly learned why people will sign up months in advance just to hear what the nation's oldest park ranger has to say.
The bow of the ship would be at that far end over the water.
When 93-year-old Ranger Betty Reid Soskin speaks, people listen.
Smaller women were actually better suited for some of the aircraft work.
Many tourists hang on her every word as she guides them through the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park.
Rosie the Riveter really was in the aircraft industry. It was Wendy the welder that came into being in the Kaiser shipyards.
The park highlights those Wendys and Rosies who filled the Richmond, California shipyards during World War II. An influx of working women that didn't immediately include people like Betty.
First to be hired were the men who were too old to fight, and then the boys who were too young to be drafted, then single white women, and then married white women, and then black men hired in 1943, and not until late in 1944. Black women began to be trained as welders.
Betty herself worked through the war as a clerk in a segregated union, the great-granddaughter of a slave who passed away when Betty was 27.
My great-grandmother lived to be 102, my mother lived to be 101, my grand-aunt lived to be 107. They were active until they died.
Which is why Betty herself didn't hesitate to start a new chapter as a park ranger at the age of 85.
Why did you want to be a park ranger?
I'm not sure I even wanted to be. This is the turn that my life took, and they named it Ranger.
Now the oldest ranger in the nation, and one who's in high demand along this California harbor.
She brings a perspective that nobody else could give.
Perspective she shares 5 days a week.
And what's the secret? Is it having meaning? Is it having...
I have no idea.
I know people have asked you.
But I have no idea. The only exercise I get is jumping in and out of my car.
Finding meaning in every tour and in that famous ranger uniform.
The first day you put this uniform on,
Yeah.
what did that feel like?
That was great. I still love this uniform. Partly because there's a silent message to every little girl of color that I pass on the street or in an elevator or an escalator who suddenly has to announce that there's a career choice she may not have ever thought of.
And as for retiring,
life keeps opening up. And as long as that's true, and as long as I'm developing new questions, then I'm going to go on living it.
Betty believes all of the chapters in her life have led her to what she does today. Guys, the first time in my career, I cried after an interview. Bawled like a baby. I was so inspired.
She was amazing, Sheinelle. Love that story. Thank you.